And we've also repaid a significant amount of debt, over 100 million. As our current share buyback scheme comes to an end, we wanted to let the market know that we continue to explore further asset disposals. And we also benefit from a structurally higher dividend, 1.8 times over the life of the vehicle. And the combination of this two, we think, puts us in very good position to further progress.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Stephen Packwood. He's co-head at Greencoat UK Wind. Stephen, very good to speak with you today. Why have you made an announcement regarding the RO consultation? What's being proposed by the government?
Yeah, sure. Well, good morning first, and thank you very much for having us. We felt it was important to make public our view of the RO consultation, given the potential impacts on both investors and consumers. So by way of background, the government is reviewing the way that inflation indexation applies to the Renewables Obligation and the Feed-in Tariff schemes. At its outset, both forms of subsidies were linked to RPI, and the government is considering amending that RPI to either just indexing on CPI as of April 26, or rebasing the indexation to CPI as if CPI had always applied from the very beginning of the scheme. That in effect means that the current levels of the renewables obligation would be fixed for around 9 or 10 years, according to the government's own calculations.
What's the likely impact of the proposed changes on investor sentiment for the sector and also for consumers?
So we think it's pretty similar to the conversations we were having around zonal pricing under REMA earlier in this year and the preceding couple of years, and that is it's likely to be unsettling to investors. Retrospective changes such as this typically lead to an increase in the cost of capital, and we believe that that will make electricity market more expensive and so ultimately harmful to consumers as well. So, given that over the next few years, we expect that the demand in this country will increase from things like the electrification of heat, data centers, and electric vehicles, we think that even a small increase in the cost of capital for consumers has the potential to increase bills for the consumers, and then ultimately going against what the government are trying to achieve in this, which is a saving of consumer bills.
Are there any alternatives that would help to reduce consumer bills that you would propose?
Yes, absolutely. So, and we want to engage very constructively with the government to find the ways that is best, not just for investors, but also for consumers as well. In the aforementioned review of electricity market arrangements, where we talked about zonal pricing, there was actually a consultation around a voluntary contract for difference. So this is an effect where existing generators could agree to a fixed electricity price below the prevailing wholesale price and therefore be mitigating the risk that prices go up and down. In turn, that reduction in price from the wholesale price could be passed on to consumers. And we believe this has the potential of saving somewhere in around £30 for consumer bills per annum, depending upon the exact take-up and make-up of the scheme. And that, we believe, is significantly more than the current consultation process could consume. In addition, I think what's important to recognise here is that there already is a contract for difference scheme out there. So the actual implementation of this could be relatively fast and relatively simple.
Stephen, you've also made an update on capital allocation. Can you touch on what you have said today?
Yeah, sure. So, once again, we believe for the alternative space, so UK Wind is leading the way. We've maintained a progressive dividend for 12 years that has increased by at least RPI. In the past 12 months, we've concluded 220 million of disposals at NAV, and that's led to us buying back almost 200 million of our shares, adding about 1.7 pence of NAV per share. And we've also repaid a significant amount of debt, over 100 million. As our current share buyback scheme comes to an end, we wanted to let the market know that we continue to explore further asset disposals, and we also benefit from a structurally higher dividend, 1.8 times over the life of the vehicle. And the combination of this two, we think, puts us in very good position to further progress capital allocation decisions in the best interest of our shareholders. Now, having said that, us and the board are not happy in the current situation that we see, and we see that the company's attractiveness needs to be improved, and we are resolutely focused on continuing to do the right things for the shareholders, as we always have done and always will do.
Stephen, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Stephen Packwood, co-head of Greencoat UK Wind.